Welcome to Messy Mondays, guys, where healthcare admin gets real, one mess at a time. I'm Brittany,
I'm Satasha.
and we are BCN Billing and Credentialing Network 2026, y'all.
How y'all doing? Did y'all get those eligibilities redone? We told y'all to get it done. New things are happening, so make sure that we're running those eligibility checks, getting the new copays updated. Make sure we're taking money for them deductibles that restarted on the first of the year. Um, yeah, so I hope y'all have hope you guys have had a great start to the year.
Absolutely. So we're gonna hop right into it. We hope you all missed us. AI note taking pros and cons. That is today's
Hot
topic.
topic, hot topic.
Definitely seeing more and more conversation around this. And started seeing it some last year, but it is rolling over into 2026. So let's get into it.
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so AI note taking is being sold as a cure for provider burnout. It can help, definitely, but it also can increase audit risks if you are at a group practice, don't put the right guardrails in place to monitor this.
Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes. So with this new AI, and it's something people are a little afraid of because we're letting a bot take over something that we were doing on a daily basis. I know a lot of clinicians, their main reason for burnout, not only seeing tons of clients to get the reimbursement that they need as a private practice owner to sustain, but also the note taking. Note taking can take a lot of time, especially when you're seeing 20, 30 patients in a day, and you have to write detailed notes for each one of them. Yes, a lot of systems now are allowing you to bring over information from the last note, which is tons and tons of help, tons of help. However, when you have new patients coming in or you're running through stuff pretty quickly with your patients, AI is going to be very helpful. It saves times for providers because it reduces their documentation workload. It keeps you the providers focused on your patients because you're speaking into a system and it's taking notes for you, and it helps your notes get done same day. You know, me and Brittany are very big on that. Making sure that your notes are done within the first 24 to 48 hours. That way we can get those claims out and build and get your earliest reimbursement. So this does it helps with that. So it the biggest takeaway from that is more capacity without extending clinic hours. So instead of using those 45 minutes to finish a note for a patient or two, you can use that 45 minutes to actually see another patient. So that's a big takeaway from that. What else we got on that, Britt?
it definitely improved note completeness.
Mm,
You're able to capture more of the visit and to reduce missing elements. Uh, it supports accurate coding, and there's fewer documentation related denials. Because I know, for instance, let's just say I know EHR Simple Practice, they have rolled out their feature with the AI. Haven't personally had any clients who used it, but I did do a training on it and kind of got more information um, to see what it's about. And the biggest thing I saw providers like the kickback was that they didn't like the fact that you're actually having to record the session. You have to get permission from your client, but you're recording basically everything from the session. It does get wiped away at the end once you've done your note, but it's kind of, to me in a sense of I don't know if I would want to be in a session and you got a recorder or like your phone or whatever you're recording on right in the session while I'm doing therapy.
exactly.
um so, everybody has their, reasoning behind why they want to use it or whatever the case may be. But um, it also really falls on your client too, whether or not that's something they're interested in having you do for them. Because you definitely want to make sure you are getting something signed saying that they're giving you permission to do that.
And
Um,
another big pro about having it is standardizing the documentation. The example Brittany just gave you was simple practice. You recording the entire session. Then you have places like e-medical practice where you're speaking into an AI system. It's taking the notes and it's structuring it the way it's supposed to in your note template, the information that you're saying into the note. And it helps billing and coding teams to review it easier because they're putting it into the documentation where it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be. It helps speed up billing with the faster note completion and quicker claim submission because you have some of these AIs, as I gave you the example of e-medical practice. Once you're talking to the AI feature saying, hey, nurse practitioner, been with the patient 45 minutes, complexity such and such, this, that, and the third. We talked about med management for so many minutes. It gives you suggested CPT codes based off the information that you have given it. The AI is, I know you guys probably watched iRobot and, the Will Smith movie where the AIs or the engineering becomes the person or wants to be the person and takes over. So it does sound like that, but it's also a good way to chomp down on time because if you're talking and you're like, oh, I'm going to use a 99213 for this particular visit, but the AI is like, hey, no, because you spent 48 minutes instead of the 42 minutes that you assumed that you did with the patient because it's clocking your time as well, then you're making sure that you're getting the highest reimbursement that you can get for what you actually have completed. So it does it can, I ain't gonna say it does. It can, depending on the software that you're using, the AI software that you're using, improve cash flow and it's less variables when going into it and fewer billing delays. So those are some additional pros about the situation. So hit us up with some cons, Britt. Hit us up with some cons because I know some of y'all kind of scared. Let's talk about some cons.
so cons. This is kind of where your practice can get exposed. So first thing, accuracy and context issues. It's AI, y'all. So AI can misinterpret conversations. It can be relevant or incorrect details, slip-ins. Like, I know with some EHRs, you can do your progress note, then have a psychotherapy note where you separate things and stuff. So, you still have to, even though if you want to use AI, and again, we're not saying don't use AI, it will it's gonna put everything in there, but again, it can misinterpret, what you really want in the note. And providers are responsible for the note, not the AI. So y'all have to keep that in mind. You can't go back to the insurance if they come back and say, I want to recoup that money. Well, it wasn't me. I used the AI. Don't care about none of that. It's your responsibility to go back, look at the note, review it, modify it to your liking. You know what the insurances want and make it the right way. What else, Satasha, for a comp?
Oh, what else do we have for cons? Compliance and audit risk. Because, like what Brittany just said, if you're not checking behind your AI, because just because I say I read the book. It might come out with read. It might come out. So if you say a word, it might misinterpret it to say something else. Or you can say, you can say different things into the AI and it interprets in something else. Instead of you saying, instead of when you're saying, oh, the patient has predatory outside stuff that come in AI takes it as you're labeling your patient as a predator. And that could be it's a silly mistake, but it's a huge mistake, especially when it comes to auditing and compliance. And if you are doing things within the AI and it's giving you suggested CPT codes, it can be unintentional upcoding, which you can still be sanctioned and sanctioned and fined for, even if it's unintentional. You can do that. You can have documentation that's listed, stuff listed in your documentation that can prove that something was not medically necessary supported because AI didn't feel the need to include that into your note because they didn't think it was priority. More words doesn't equal better documentation. When we say detailed, we mean the sky is blue with red overcast. Like, that's what we mean. It doesn't have to be long, but it has to be adequate. You have to have the adequate material inside of it. So, relying on AI, sometimes it could defer some of your points that you needed in the note and keep it out the note and keep stuff that you didn't really need in the note. So that's one another con. What else you got, Britt? What else you thinking about?
Um, over provider over reliance. Like Satasha said, notes aren't fully reviewed. And errors repeat across visits. So again, we know you have the where you can reload a previous note to go and make modifications, but you really need to make sure that you are, when you're doing your documentation, don't just change like a word or two. Like actually say what was going on in that particular, even though it might be a rollover of the previous session, switch it up a little bit. Like don't just keep putting the same thing verbatim, you know? Because small mistakes become system-wide issues, and insurances, they be watching y'all. You got one more for us, Tasha?
Just to piggyback off what you just said, insurances pay attention. Insurance pay attention to everything. So if you are using AI, it may lead to a lot of payer scrutiny, because they're looking at your notes, and if it's repetitive noting, because we can tell when you talk to us in AI. Like when you send us an email, we know it's AI generated. We know that you didn't send it. So if we as just billers and coders can look at documentation and tell that it's AI generated, we know the insurance companies will too. And if you're relying too much on the AI, it can cause errors because of the fact, yes, AI is acceptable, but unchecked AI usage is not acceptable. So we just want to make sure that we are not getting into that uniformed AI generated patterns, that happen. So when you end your email to us with best regards, who is saying best regards on a regular basis? Nobody. So we know that is AI generated. Nobody's telling me best regards. Who are you best regarding? You know what I mean? Brittany's laughing because she likes to use the word.
I do.
And that's actually what she puts in her emails. But AI uses it so frequently that we know 90% of the time it might be AI generated email that you got sent us. So unchecked AI usage, it might become a big problem, especially since we all know insurances, not to defer saying don't use insurances, they don't want to pay. So they'll find little things because they looked at your last 15 notes for this one patient and it all said the same thing because your AI got into a pattern with this particular patient to say these particular things, and not show the growth. And that's another thing that insurances look at. If you're doing a service on a repeat, they want to see, is this helping the patient? Because if it's not helping the patient, then we need to figure out a different service to give them. So if you've been seeing this patient for 3 years for therapy, they want to know, hey, is therapy working?
Are
Do
they
we need
making
to
progress?
are we making progress? But if your AI generated note is not showing the progress that the patient is making, that could lead to, especially with IPOs and stuff like that. When you're going out and working with the patient in the home for certain things, skill building, stuff. And if it's not showing that the patient is building the skills that they need, then it's not going to work. Or if people are coming in for certain injections or medicines and they're not documenting the actual improvement of the patient because the AI has gotten, oh, they're in because their leg hurt and they got gout and they get missed this, that, and the third. But if the gout is not reducing, then the insurances might say, hey, it's not medically necessary. I should be trying to figure something else out.
Bingo. So 2026 reality, AI use is acceptable, y'all. Y'all can use it. We're not telling you not to use it. However, unchecked AI use is not acceptable, y'all. Y'all gotta don't use that as just like, oh, I got my notes done. The AI did it for me. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Check it out, check it out, check it out.
So, with that being said, that is today's Messy Monday.
So just remember, y'all, AI note taking. We give it thumbs up. We actually do. We actually give it thumbs up because you're able to get it out there and then you go back and you proofread. So it helps providers check do notes faster. Like we're not against it. The only difference is oversight. Treat AI as a tool, not a shortcut.
That was good.
You like that?
I like
Put it
that.
on the cue card, baby. All right, y'all. So that is another messy Monday. We've tackled some hard truths, and remember, it's all about improving, learning, and becoming a better provider. Learning what's best for your practice and your patients. If you found this episode helpful, you know what to do.
Yes,
Click it, share
sir.
it with your teams, your friends, your coworkers, everybody. Let's get this information out to everybody so we can keep this conversation going. Join us next Monday for another helpful and insightful. I think we're gonna keep running a little AI so we can give y'all more information on it for the next couple of Mondays. Remember, come back so we can tighten up your practice game. Until then, keep it cute, keep it ethical, and take care of your patients.
Bye.
Bye.